Hey there, beautiful lovers of the world. Yesterday, I published an episode that was just me swiping on Tinder, and I was quite surprised at how popular this episode was. I thought it might be kind of boring, but apparently, a lot of people found it really interesting. And so I feel like it might be a good idea to follow through on my Tinder swiping. It's a little bit of a weird thing. I mean, when I'm swiping on Tinder, I really see the worst parts of myself come up. And I see inhibitions I have about dating and judgments I have about people that aren't necessarily fair. So I just want to kind of give you some context here, which is that I'm not necessarily proud of how I'm judging people on Tinder. I think that every single human being has an extraordinary universe inside of them. I think there's a quote, inside every drop of water is the universe, and inside every universe is a million drops of water. I don't know, that doesn't really make sense. It made sense to me at the time. So every being is precious and beautiful and vast, and even couples that have known each other for 50 years are still discovering themselves. I don't buy into this idea of good or bad people, although there are some more difficult people in this world for sure, and people who are better for each other than others. Anyhow, probably one of the most profound things I noticed about on Tinder is how judgy I'm getting about people's careers and their financial status. So, funnily enough, I feel like happy about dating someone who's an electrician or plumber or doing some kind of unique skill with their hands, fitness. But then I feel super judgy when it comes to, oh, you're a cashier or you're doing something, I don't know, maybe it's the jobs, or you're a food delivery person. Like that somehow does not appear to me. And I guess I think of myself dating someone who's a doctor or an engineer or an entrepreneur, but maybe not a mid-level software engineer. They have to have some kind of creativity associated with their job. But ultimately, I mean, doesn't what really matters that the person is good to me and curious about themselves and growing. But I guess I have all these notions that they have to be intelligent, but they also have to have curiosity. They also have to be evolving. I'm also kind of sensitive to people who are critical, especially in the beginning. On the other hand, yeah, so I mean, I'm very ambitious and my work is important to me, and I think that I would like someone who can nurture and bring value to what I do, and I hope that I can bring value to what they do. I think I need to drink some water while we're doing this together. In any event, here's the upshot of my Tinder adventures. Okay. I'm trying to put some lemon and salt in my water so I get my electrolytes. It's really refreshing me. The upshot of my Tindering is that I ended up scheduling a date for yesterday, and I realized that the guy that I scheduled the date with, I literally knew nothing about except that he wasn't horrendously, offensively ugly to me. Didn't know anything about his job, what he was interested in. I thought I had a second date, but that guy ended up being some kind of scammer. He said he lived in Amsterdam and he had a throat infection, and that's why he couldn't meet for coffee tomorrow. All right, so this guy, we planned to meet up, and then he texted me, and the first thing he asked me for was, he sent me a photo of himself. He said, "This is from this summer, now send me yours." And I felt that gave me the ick. I didn't like that he sent me that. Basically, I think what he wanted to know is that my photos were recent and that they were real, which is fair enough, but it just kind of irritated me. I mean, of course, how you look is important, but I don't know. I just don't like it when people do that. I wouldn't really ask someone to send a recent photo. So I felt it was kind of demanding. And then he did some other things that I felt were kind of mildly critical. Like, he wanted me to text him first on WhatsApp instead of him texting me first. There was no real any kind of compliment, like "you seem interesting" or even "you look pretty." I think like words of affirmation are definitely one of my love languages, and so it's a bit challenging for me if someone doesn't have that at all. So anyway, he texted me, and then, oh my gosh, what happened next? Okay, I think I deleted him, that's why I can't find it. I just felt so awkward about the whole thing. Okay, to make a long story short, basically, we wrote a little bit back and forth in the morning, and he didn't really ask me any questions about myself except, where are you from? You live alone or with somebody? Basically wanted to know that I was single, and then he asked for my pictures. So when it came around to some evening, I just really, really didn't feel like meeting him at all. I was starting to feel actually a bit depressed, and I don't know, I just couldn't muster it up. I felt like I already know that I'm not gonna have any kind of connection with this guy. I don't know. Men watching this might not realize this, but a woman really needs 2 hours to prep for a date, just to, take a shower, wash her hair, put on makeup, wear a nice dress, get there, psych herself up. It's a whole thing. I mean, I need to listen to my music. I can't just kind of walk over to the date. So I decided just to be honest and tell him that I wasn't feeling up to it. Then he said, you should have told me sooner because I canceled an appointment for you, and that he was going to stay at home. So, fair enough. I mean, I deserved the guilt trip, but I just wasn't feeling it. And then I said to him, I'm really sorry, and I don't like it when people do this to me, and I don't have an excuse. It's a shitty thing to do. And then he decided to guilt me again about it. Like, nothing would have happened to you if we had one drink and got to know each other and when you went home. So yeah, that was not very nice of me. And then the second guy, we started talking, and I found out that he worked at the bakery selling baked goods in Split. It's called Fritulle. And I started to feel like, why am I meeting up with this guy? I mean, I kind of felt like, here's my thinking. If I'm gonna go on Tinder, it's so I can meet someone that I might not just meet in person. I already met a sailor on a boat, and I met people walking down the street who work in the grocery store. Like, if I'm gonna be on Tinder, I wanna aim higher in terms of profession. So I started feeling very unmotivated about this date too. And anyway, so he texted me during the day. We were supposed to meet for coffee this morning, and he texted me and said if I wanted to stop by and get some Fritulle, I could, which is at the store, and I said I would try. But at this point, I was just getting more and more depressed. I went to a restaurant I liked. I was trying to upload the Tinder episode, and I had all kinds of problems with it because I was trying to show you the Tindering, and then I couldn't blur the faces, so I ended up my internet kept on going out. So I was really frustrated just with my podcast about dating. I was too frustrated about the podcast about dating to go on the dates. There's just so much fear around meeting a stranger that I don't know that I have to work through. It takes so much effort psychologically for me to get to the point, especially if it's not someone I'm looking forward to meeting. And then on top of that, there's just like, the other thing is that I was just feeling kind of like this whole process, okay, what if I do meet someone? There's also a fear there, like if I meet a really great person. Okay, and the third thing is I don't feel like I really had any time to grieve the loss of that last guy I was dating. And even though we went on 2 dates before I found out that I couldn't be a fit with him, I just felt sad, a little bit missing him. So yeah, so then the guy that I was supposed to meet, who I didn't end up stopping by for baked goods, we were going to meet for coffee today, and then I sent a text being like, hey, sorry I didn't get a chance to stop by. And he's like, well, I saved some for you and now I have to throw it out. And I didn't even really say that I was gonna stop by. I said I might stop by. And then we were gonna meet for today for coffee anyway. And I was like thinking, it's a bakery. Don't bakeries like have extra baked goods? Also, this is something you can like fry and give, it's out fresh. So kind of the guilting me around the Fritulle was not lovely. But then, I was also being flaky again, and I wasn't, I was being flaky because I decided I wasn't interested in either of them anymore because, I don't know, the first guy, I just kind of didn't like his demanding negative attitude, and then the second guy, didn't like his job very much. So anyway, he guilted me about the patchouli, and then we had plans to meet this morning at 10 a.m. or 11, and then I left him a voice message in the morning at 9, and he didn't respond until noon, an hour until we were supposed to meet. This very groggy message that he had just woken up. And for me, I was like, hooray, I have an out of this date that I don't want to go on. And so that date never happened. I didn't get any dates from my 2 hours of being on Tinder. And I'm ashamed of myself. I don't think that I treated these guys very well. I just opted into that whole culture where people are flaking out and not being concerned about other people's feelings and their plans and other people getting excited about a date and it falling through. I didn't behave in a way that I was proud of, and I feel icky about that. And the reason I didn't is because, one, I'm kind of elitist about the job thing, and two, because I had no accountability. It's not like they were friends or friends. I just can archive and block them. And I think number three, and the biggest, is that it just does take a lot to go out and meet these strangers. And if I just don't think it's going to be a fit at all, it feels kind of like wasted energy. So I'm sorry. I apologize to the men already. I didn't go so far as to say I'm just not interested in you, which probably wouldn't be very fair because I don't know them. How can I really not be interested in them? But I guess, oh yeah, I also connected with some doctor in Belgrade, and he does kind of seem to fit the resume of the kind of guy that I'm looking for. He's attractive, not over the top, but nice looking. He is interested in literature, so just has a little more dimensional than just practicing medicine. He has his own practice, he's an entrepreneur. So that guy seems really great, but I just don't want to live in Belgrade. I texted him today and I said, what are you doing? And he said, it's kind of gray and cold today, so I'm not going out. And so I realized, okay, I'm glad, when I was in my 20s, I would have moved anywhere in the world for my husband, and now it's just not the same anymore. I realized I depend on this city so much, all the nature and the sun, all these elements for my happiness. I feel like this city is kind of my husband in a way. I just found a place that suits my temperament so well. All right, so in any event, that is I woke up today and I was feeling really depressed and about the whole dating thing. And just everything, the men and that I didn't pursue things with. And I went to my favorite coffee shop, and that was a good thing. I think that my vibe started to shift during the day. What did I do to shift my vibe? I started thinking about shifting my vibe. Like, I knew I could change my mindset at any time. And I dressed up beautifully. I put on makeup, my earrings, my green dress, because green is supposed to mean go, my heels, and I walked down to my coffee shop. I saw the guy that I liked, and I actually managed to crack a smile from him today. He's a bit of a stern Croatian dude. Oh yeah, and then I also decided that I was going to focus on getting guests on this podcast. So it's not just me droning on about my dating life. So I reached out to a bunch of matchmakers. A lot of them said that they would come on the show. I think this is kind of exciting because maybe they might know someone who would be interested in me, help me understand how I'm getting in my own way and stuff like that. And so that was encouraging. And then tonight I decided to do something. I went home and I cleaned and I decided, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to go to new places. So in the past, I always go to this beautiful 5-star hotel in downtown Split called the Ambassador. And I said, okay, I'm going to try to find somewhere else on the Riva where I can get some work done besides the Ambassador. Maybe they'll be better. I never really meet anyone there, so I want to find a place where I can meet people. And so I just walked to the restaurant right next to the Ambassador, and I was about to walk past it because it just didn't seem like it was very conducive to meeting people in there. And then all of a sudden these 4 people started waving at me and telling me to come in, and I realized it was some of the waiters that I know at the Ambassador. And that was so much fun because I went in and we talked for a really long time. I've been telling everybody I know to try to find me a husband. And some of the younger waiters, I've been offering them a bribe. Like, if they can find me someone, who isn't rich, I'll give them $500. But if they find me someone rich to marry, I'll give them 10,000. And if it's a billionaire, I'll give them $1 million. That was the latest deal. So I'm just trying to kind of put the word out to connectors. I mean, like, these guys meet so many people who are sailing yachts into Croatia and enjoy beautiful hotels like me. I also have the word out to my coffee shop girls. And then I just went to so we hung out for a really long time, and then I went back actually to the Ambassador, and I started making a list of events to go to. I'm kind of trying to reverse engineer my ideal man, or stalk my ideal partner and think about where would he go and try to go to those places. So that was kind of a fun evening experiment. I will actually, why don't we just dive right in? I'm going to give you the prompt that I gave to ChatGPT. I'm so sorry. This is so ridiculously superficial. But basically, I don't know, this kind of came to me. Where do handsome, fit, wealthy, kind, chivalrous men and their face hang out? So no apologies, completely superficial, not trying to act like I only care about things that might actually be important in relation to like a kind person. Anyway, where do handsome, fit, wealthy, kind, chivalrous men in their 40s hang out? It says, men like that don't usually hang out in obvious single venues. This is the cheap ChatGPT answer. In their 40s, especially if they're fit, successful, and kind, they organize their lives around purpose, mastery, and values, not nightlife. You'll find them where standards are implicit and behavior matters. Here's where they actually show up by category and why. So I actually thought that this answer was kind of pretty good. Number 1, high commitment fitness, not flashy gyms. These men train for longevity and discipline, not vanity. Private training studios or invite-only gyms. I do not know how to find an invite-only gym, so I skipped that one. Tennis, squash, or paddle clubs. Okay, so I am not really seeing myself getting into tennis because it's a very expensive sport, and it just doesn't feel like my cup of tea. But I might see, when I start making my list of potential connectors, I might try to connect with some tennis trainers to see if they know a match. Although a tennis guy might want a tennis woman, so not like I'm opposed to learning. Master swimming programs. Okay, I'm not going to meet anyone swimming because cycling groups. I just don't really, early morning rides. Okay, not an early morning rider. No, not a cycling group. I don't think so. Rowing clubs, definitely not. I'm sorry. I just don't see myself getting into rowing. And martial arts with lineage, BJJ, Aikido, and Kendo. So it turns out there are actually quite a few jiu-jitsu clubs in Split. So I contacted 2 of them, and I'm going to start taking classes. And I also decided to start taking CrossFit. I've been kind of starting to look at husbands who I admire or people who I think are really good husbands and seeing what they do. And then voila. And if worst comes to worst, I can always ask the person running it to introduce me. Crazy. I'm going to be starting to be known as the girl who everybody asks to introduce them to a husband. Number 2, intellectual and cultural spaces. So here's a bunch of recommendations. So these men are curious, grounded, and socially literate. Author talks, book salons, philosophy nights, museum patron events and exhibitor openings, classical music concerts, chamber music, jazz, independent cinema, language schools. Okay, I kind of ran the whole gamut of these when I was an actress in New York City. There's just so many events like this happening all the time. I feel like these kind of attract the somewhat frail, lean, intellectual types that I'm not so interested in. I prefer more of a kind of physically grounded man. I have plenty of intellectual book chatter for both of us. Why? These environments filter for emotional intelligence and respect. Loud egos don't last here. I will say, I used to run a foreign language school in New York, and I did meet some interesting men there. One of them whom I hooked up with. He was a student in my French class in his 30s. Don't worry. Okay. Purpose-driven and travel and skill retreats. Not party travel, competence travel, hiking, alpine, or sailing expeditions. I did join the sailing. I am going to go to the sailing club this week. Cycling or ski, writing, photography, meditation. I have never met a guy on a meditation retreat. There's this idea, like, when you're in your 20s, you think it's gonna be like so great to meet a spiritual guy, and they're just, I'm sorry, so many of them are completely out to lunch. There's just so much in this heady spiritual space. It's good to have a spiritual practice, but I just find that these Zen centers and spiritual retreats kind of attract the wrong type of guy. They're just so much focused on their own process and kind of a bit solo. Not that I know wonderful women who have met spiritual guys, but watch out. Culinary workshops. Yes, we were thinking about maybe organizing something like that. Oh my gosh, this list goes on and on. Okay, I'm gonna go through the last ones quickly. 4 quiet wealth circles. There's like angel investor, nonprofits. I might start thinking about some of those groups. It's easier to find that in New York though, honestly. 5, faith adjacent but not dogmatic. Going to church is still a possibility. I just haven't gotten there yet. Volunteering. Yes, this is something I really want to put on my list, is volunteering. I think I have not dug into that enough. My work has a big social entrepreneurship component. So we give a lot away for free, and I organize I had a whole free tutoring non-project for underserved youth. But I haven't done so much of my own, showing up at a soup kitchen type of thing. Okay, so ChatGPT says, I'm not going to meet my guy. Loud cocktail bar, dating app, club, or places that reward bravado over courtesy. Oh my gosh, I don't know what that means. It's kind of a funny phrase though. Let's see. Men like this don't approach everyone. They approach women who signal self-respect without hardness, warmth without neediness, standards without superiority. Ooh, I need to work on that one. A full life they'd add to, not rescue. Your environment selects them, but your presence activates them. Okay. There was something else here. Oh yeah, if you're in Europe, including Croatia, you'll disproportionately find them in early morning cafes, check. Sailing clubs and marinas, especially weekday mornings. Going in there tomorrow. Bookstores and cafe hybrids, I'm not so sure. I feel like that's kind of like the more shriveled, lanky type in his brain. Slow food events, olive oil, wine tastings. I find these kind of attract more annoying tourists. I think I probably could start going on some more expensive trips if I have more money. Hiking trails and alpine lodges. No, I've been on so many hikes, I never met a guy there. Okay. So yeah, it's gonna be jujitsu, if I like it, CrossFit, and sailing marinas, and continue with my coffee for now. And then I might do some kind of co-working crawl, trying out different cafes. All right, so, I was asking how these type of men, when they are looking for a wife, what do they do? And it says, by far the primary channel is friends, spouses, married couples they respect, sisters, cousins, longtime female friends, business partners, families, community leaders they trust. So I think this is a really good instinct of mine to start connecting with the people that men might go to if they're looking for a wife. Okay. So, yeah, or selective matchmakers, and yeah. I'll send you this whole prompt and the answer. But basically, I asked if maybe I should be on the lookout for high-end divorce attorneys. People in New York City are known to be reading the obituary columns to find new apartments, so I figured maybe I can get in on the divorce attorneys, and they'll know who behaved honorably under stress, who protects children and ex-partners, who paid fairly without being vindictive, who is emotionally regulated. Then it suggested wealth managers and family offices. I know literally none of these people, but I could. Executive and life coaches. I like this one. Men's group therapists. Longtime married couples, board chair and nonprofit directors, physicians, club managers, sailing, tennis, country, alpine. Architects, builders and interior designers. Private school heads. Gosh. High-end funeral directors. Is this like for newly widowed men? Oh God. Yeah. That would be an interesting take. So yeah, oh my gosh, this is already starting to make me feel a little bit overwhelmed. I think we're just gonna start one step at a time with trying to do the sailing marina coffee shops and my new jujitsu class. That might be a little bit funny. I'm not such a sporty person, but I do want to build more muscle. Okay, so I promised you we were going to go back on Tinder, and I do want to close the loop. So now I'm going to just try to see if anyone here is someone who I would not meet in person, because what's the point if I can just meet them in person? Okay, so let's just see what the messages are. I have this message from a guy who wants to know if I'm in Split, and he's looking for a long-term partner, non-smoker, says something in Croatian that I don't know, has a dog. That's about all that I know. Were you born here in Split? What do you like to do on weekends? Okay, this other guy... Okay, this is kind of amusing. So this one guy I was texting with, I'm not very attracted to him. He doesn't seem like my type, but I felt like I could give him a try. And he's a web developer. But then he said he smoked, and so I was trying to find a polite, non-critical way to see how much he smoked. And I said, hey, I noticed you're a smoker and was wondering if that's something regular or just from time to time, because I'm really sensitive to smoke. And then he says, I am a smoker, but few cigarettes daily, meaning less than 5, so I don't smoke much. Oh my gosh, less than 5, that's a lot every day. I don't know what I should say. I'm sorry, I can't date a smoker. Like, I just don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, so I'd rather just drift away. Should I unmatch with him? I'm just not going to reply. Okay. So then this other guy, I was like, hey, I'm just saying, okay, I want to know what someone's work is, because obviously that's an issue for me when I found out that someone was delivering packages for a living. So I said, hey, what do you do for work? And he said, I'll give you one try. What would be your guess? And no, it's not fair, but it's fun. So after my Frutuli experience, I asked him if he sold Frutuli, and he laughed. And then he didn't tell me what he did. So it's just annoying. I'm not going to answer this guy. Like, it's a basic question, and I think it's a fair question. Okay, I mean, I do understand guys don't want women just looking for someone to bankroll them, but I mean, I do say that I have a tech company on my profile, so obviously I'm not looking for that. But maybe you would say I am, because for some reason I'm seems to care about money. Oh, Goya wrote me back. I came 2 times here for other... Okay, so this guy... Oh, I'm kind of interested in this guy, but he's 311 kilometers away. I just don't know if I want to invest in that. He's an Italian. I think I'm going to skip it. Okay, so this Goya guy... Let's see. Were you born in Split? What do you like to do on weekends? He says, I'm looking someone for enjoy. Fur spelled F-I-R. Okay, great. Am I excited? What are your hobbies? I don't know what to say. Okay. Now this guy, what's weird is we've matched before and I unmatched, so I don't know what is going on. He doesn't like Split, which is a downer. One thing I really like about this place is that most people who live here and were born here really love it. I'm from New York. Yes, I lived in NYC for 15 years before coming here. Have you been? What do you do for work? I have a company focused on education. That's a good one. I can ask them and then I can say what I do. All right, I don't know. Still nobody interesting in Tinder. This one guy from Bosnia texted me and then he wanted to know if I had any jobs for him in tech. It's like, what? Can you go to LinkedIn, please? Ugh, I don't know about this Tinder thing. I think that... Am I allowed to just give up on it? You know what, though? We do have some leads on Bumble. Let me just see if I can find my phone here. Okay. Well, somebody wants dinner with me. Oh, I said, my Bumble thing is what's the next thing you're looking forward to? So a lot of people say cheesy stuff. This guy looks like looks like you know how to cook. He has a really nice picture of food. Okay, but he's in Dubrovnik. So I'm not going to invest too much right now because I always have my matchmaker friends to fix me up with people around the world. What's the next thing you're looking forward to fixing my 15-year-old road ranger? You know what? It's okay. This guy's a bit little chubby from Bucharest, but he's here. I'm not really that excited about him though. But I don't know him. He does own his own business, so I think it's normal that he'd be excited. Physically, I am not attracted. Oh, Black Angel wrote me and sent me his Instagram. I'm really trying to not use Instagram that much, but I don't know. I couldn't really see anything from his thing. You know, it's kind of annoying. You used to be able to do... Oh, you can still do voice notes. Oh, perfect. Ah, cool, c'est génial. En fait, je pouvais rien voir sur Instagram, je m'en sers pas beaucoup. C'est vraiment génial. Qu'est-ce que tu fais pendant les vacances? Tu as des projets de venir dans la Croatie? Showing off my mad French skills to you guys. Okay, oh, Zoran says hi. What should I say back? How about hi? I think these guys are just using this option to reply to a Bumble prompt, but they don't even really reply to it. They just say whatever the fuck they want. Pardon my French. Okay. Well, Petar, you are in split again. This guy's kind of saucy looking. I like him. Wow, this guy is super attractive. Okay. Yes, I am here. Did we match before, Petar? How are you doing? Okay. So some of these guys, they match with so few people because it's just hard for guys. And so they seem to remember me and I don't remember them. David, 54. French. I think I should date older guys. I never really went into that. I remember when I was in college, I had a crush on a grad student and it never went anywhere. Imagine if I hadn't been so terrified of dating in college. Maybe I could have met someone nice. I have a good life though. Salut David, je suis dans la Croatie comme toi. Et oui, je parle français, je vécu à Paris et j'avais une école de langue quand j'étais à New York et je suis aussi traductrice. Okay, and then we have a new guy, Ivica. Oh, rather nice, 39. Don't have kids, want kids. Hi, Ivica, how are you? Oh my gosh, this online dating is just mind-numbing. I think I need to go back to... So Zoran said hi, I said hi, and guess what he wrote back? Hi, very creative. I'm just gonna write hi again because it's super annoying. Okay, let's see, should we swipe on someone new? Why not? Okay, why is there a woman here? Okay, so that's Bumble, and then we shall try Hinge. I know a lot of people like Hinge, but I just have trouble with Hinge in general. No one answered me on Hinge. This guy is 22 years old. Do you think that if I date a 22-year-old, I will be moving towards my goal of a life partner? I feel not. I feel that that would not be the case. So unfortunately, Hinge, I think we're gonna skip out on the 22-year-olds today. It's just a little bit out of my age range. Okay. So there we have a wrap. Sadly, no good news to report on Tinder. I feel like I almost have this dream for myself that once I actually have a date I'm interested in on Tinder, then I will be able to never use Tinder ever again. It's just so awful. I hope that I'm gonna find the best possible way to meet my life partner, and then I'm going to be able to share it with all of you, and then you won't have to go on Tinder. That would be nice. I hope that it's not gonna be Tinder, because if I do meet him on Tinder, then you guys are all gonna have to go through this slog. All right, I don't know. I feel like that's all I've got for you today. This was a little bit, I'm sad. I'm really sad I didn't find someone good on Tinder. I think I'd kind of run out of matches on Tinder, on Bumble, on Hinge. I've swiped the entire world. No more swiping. Oh my god, it's so deflating. Okay, so I'm just gonna try to reorient myself to what's next here. First of all, I just have to say through all this, there's this big part of me that feels like, what's the point? It's too late. I am just too broken to find someone. It's all fairy tales that are being fed to me, and I'm just living in a dream. Kind of love doesn't exist. Another heart, there was a part of me that believed in romance and love and has seen it in the world and knows it's possible for me. And I would rather follow that, even if it's hard, than to shut down that part of myself before it's time. And right now, it's just not time. Even if I'm just completely deluded, I want to follow this through until I see the truth, like I feel it in the depth of my soul. And that's why I'm going to be reaching out to a lot of dating coaches, matchmakers, chaplains, Zen priests, Catholic priests, and just trying to learn more about marriage and love. And I'm going to be trying to surround myself more with more happily married couples, connect more with people who are great husbands, like the head of this jiu-jitsu studio. I also was texting the other day with one of my Airbnb managers, who's a great husband, and he was the one who gave me the idea to go to CrossFit. And we'll see where that takes me. It's a bit hard when you don't have a model of what a relationship is like as a child to figure out what you want in it, but I can get there. When I was in elementary school, I went to a Montessori school, and there was this theme song of like, you can be what you want to be, put your power to it. You can be what you want to be, just go ahead and do it. Like, you can be what you want to be, put your power to it. You can be what you want to be, just go ahead and do it. And I think that kind of attitude is really powerful, that mindset of anything you want to be, you can be it, do it. But I also feel like that kind of attitude was a bit detrimental to me because I decided I wanted to be like the most famous actress in the entire world. And that just like wasn't as simple as putting my power to it. I mean, some of these things are left up to chance. And I wanted to start a $1 billion company, and that just wasn't something that necessarily I was kind of geared towards. My passion in life is not really fast month-over-month growth and trampling anyone in my path and having this kind of type A sharp personality. And then there's romantic love, and I realize what I'm looking for isn't just, not everybody who's married has this amazing, happy, beautiful marriage. It's actually feels a little more rare. Sometimes it feels impossible, but I hope it's not that rare. So trying to find something beautiful and rare takes more work. I'm not 100% sure what it is, if it exists. If I found a big, beautiful, marvelous love, it would be so amazing. And if at a certain point I decide to let this go, if I can do it with truth and integrity, that will also be amazing. But I don't want to just give up because it feels too hard, or because all these stories I tell myself are being sad, or, I don't want to shut parts of myself off. I want to follow through. It's my life choice, and try to stay positive and idealistic, and good things I know will flow in. I mean, I had 2 really great conversations with men yesterday and today that were kind of ignited by this desire to connect with men who might have traits similar to the husband I might find. Then today, when I decided, okay, I'm going to try a different place than I usually go and work, I just ran into these friends and we hung out. And so instead of being alone on a Sunday night, I was just having a great time with these really cool people and laughing and enjoying each other and feeling loved. And then I went back to the hotel, and there was this like adorable baby just crawling on the floor, and it was just this perfect round-faced bald baby, and the parents were kind of across the room, and so I kind of looked at them and said, "Oh, is it okay if I pick up your baby?" Because the baby was about to crawl back behind the bar, and I just picked up this beautiful baby, and I got to hold the beautiful baby next to my cheek. And then I went over and started talking to the mom about dental work in Croatia and our other 2 daughters, and then there's this other guy I know who worked at the hotel, was there with his son, and I had a really lovely chat with him, and some other people I've gotten to know, and I feel like this is all flowing from this desire in me to be more connected and loving and in community. So it's all good. All right. I hope you got some useful insights here, and I'm excited for what's to come. See you all tomorrow.